Hello, this is Maurice Kempner. I'm a attorney, real estate broker, business consultant, and coach. Welcome to True Legacy Wealth Media. Today we're going to have some fun just crunching some numbers. I'm going to show you if you are an employee and you get a reimbursement at the IRS rate from your employer for driving your car. I'm going to show you a way that you can make a lot of money tax free. And I think a lot of people who are in this situation don't really realize what's going on. And sometimes they go out and they'll buy some big truck or some other things thinking their employer's going to reimburse them for the miles and whatever. But it's not necessarily the best way to make a lot of money from this or to take full advantage of it. So I'm going to show you how this works. So let's say you get a reimbursement from your employer. Now, right now, the IRS allows a 67 cents per mile deduction. So it's 2024. That's the deduction. It varies from year to year. So 67 cents. Now, I'm going to use a Tesla Model Y as an example. I have a Tesla Model Y. I'm just going to use it to show the principles. That doesn't mean your car needs to be one, but I'm just going to show you how this principle works. A Tesla Model Y is extremely low cost, right? Now, mine is even lower because I'm on Tesla Energy. Some areas have that. And if you're on Tesla Energy, you have solar panels and wall batteries. With Tesla, you can be on Tesla Energy as an energy provider. And they only charge you $25 a month for all the electricity your Model Y can eat, right? And a Model 3, they do it for that too. So that means for $300 a year, it'd be like buying a brand new car. And part of the sale was they said you could drive this car all you want to and put all the gas in it you want to, but you only pay $300 a year for gasoline. That's basically what it is in that situation. But without that, and you can look this up yourself and figure out what you think, but most people are saying the cost to drive a Model Y a mile is between 2.5 and 5 cents a mile, depending on electricity and other things. There's really no maintenance or anything else, right? So if you look here, you can see there's 67 cents a mile is what the IRS allows. So let's just say it costs you 5 cents a mile to drive your Model Y. That's 62 cents a mile that you get tax-free money from your employer that you don't have to pay. So your employer gives you 67 cents a mile. They deduct this 67 cents from their business as a business expense, right? They give it to you. You receive it tax-free because it's a reimbursement that the IRS allows you to receive for driving your car a mile, right? So you get it. You get the 67 cents. Then you turn around and you pay your maintenance and energy costs on your Model Y, which are 5 cents. And you pocket the 62 cents for every mile you drive the car as tax-free income from your employer. That's how this works. Now, I was talking to a guy. He was a type of insurance adjuster, and he's driving around from place to place. You know, he's driving all these different places, and he told me he puts on around 200 miles a day on his car, driving all these places, right? So his employer is reimbursing him for 200 miles a day. Now, let's say he had this Model Y we're talking about here. So he has this Model Y and he drives it 200 miles a day at a cost of 5 cents a mile. So he's making 62 cents a mile from his employer tax free, based on what I showed you before. That's $124 a day. That's $620 every 5 days, so that's per week. It's $2,480 every 4 weeks, that's per month. And it's $29,760 per year tax free. That's I mean, how would you like to get an extra about 2,500 bucks a month tax free on income from your employer? And that's what this is. That's what we're talking about here. It's in this example. Now, if it was 100 miles a month, it'd be different. See, but if it was 300 miles, 100 miles a day rather than 200, the numbers would be different and so on. I mean, you understand what I'm talking about here. I'm just showing you how this principle works. But this guy, this is what he was doing. They were just reimbursing him for that. So now let's say that you go down and let's say you bought this Model Y like I'm talking about. Here we go. Here's your Model Y. You spent $50,000 for it. Now it could usually be less than that if it's a brand new and you get the tax credit. It could be a couple thousand more if you make too much money for that. I'm just putting 50,000. So let's say you get $2,480 tax free every month from driving your Tesla Model Y and getting reimbursed by your employer after your actual expenses. If you take that money and apply it towards your Tesla, pay it off, it'll be paid off in 20 months. That's not even a year, or that's not even 2 years, right? It'll be paid off in 12 months. After that, it's all gravy, right? And now Model Y is supposed to last, they're estimated to last around 350,000 miles, right? So to get to this $50,000 to get that paid off at the 62 cents a mile profit, that's about 80,000 miles to drive through your employer to pay off the car. And once you've done that, the car will be paid off and you will have used about 23% of the life of that car. And then the rest of the life is just a car that was paid for by your employer and you own it. It's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. You didn't pay anything for it after this. It's all tax free. And then just make the minimum payment on the car, keep the rest of the money and spend it on groceries, whatever you want. I'm just showing you how this works and what the principle is. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a Model Y. So I'm just showing you if you can get a low cost vehicle, put a lot of miles on it through an employer and they reimburse you, it's profitable and it's tax free money. And depending on how many miles you do, it's a way to really bump up your income without putting yourself in another tax bracket, or having to deal with other issues with taxes on your income. So anyway, it's kind of a cool little thing. So I'm just mentioning to you, if you know in your job or your employer there's positions where you can get these jobs where maybe they pay the same that you're doing now, but you drive a lot and you can get a low cost vehicle, it's a way to make a lot of extra money. And if you don't mind driving, why not? Anyway, just something to think about.